Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to People Perspective in the Pulse, where the mic stays open, the conversation stays real, and the poetry flows naturally. From headache to heartache to healing, headlines to home life, we're talking about it all.
All right, we are back. Season 2 in the building. Oh, yes. What a world it is. Let me tell you.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
So,
The world has been worlding, and we've been trying to keep up with everything and talk to you about it. So,
there's a lot to keep up with. So, one of the main reasons we wanted to do this particular episode was based on the fact that, of course, everybody in the world wants to do a podcast. It seems like because it's just the easiest thing to jump into as far as like just making content and so on, and everybody has an opinion. So naturally, we were wanted to field some of the questions as to what authorizes us with the right to jump on here and be podcasters. So here we are. I guess, of course, I'll let you start because you're the professional in the building.
okay. Um, hey, I am a licensed psychologist in the state of North Carolina, and I have to say that because I'm a master's level psychologist, not a PhD level psychologist. The licensure that I carry is called an LPA, which is Licensed Psychological Associate. And we have to say that even though we can call ourselves psychologists, we also have to make sure we put out exactly what we are and put out the letters and the name and the licensure so people know who we are, what we do, and our level of schooling and stuff. So, yeah.
And I am, by all accounts and rights, am just a regular guy who, for some oddball reason, throughout my entire life, I've been criticized and, I guess you could say, picked on by my family and most of my friends that I'm the counselor. I'm the one person that I can just be randomly be somewhere. It even happened to me this past weekend. I'll just be standing around and somebody will come and just want to, have a 45-minute long conversation with me because I guess I have the type of energy that's very inviting, it seems like sometimes. So, um, uh, Adrian has been kind enough to be my coach to become a life coach. And that's the crux of what our subject is right now to give some clarity to it. As a life coach, I've counseled several individuals on some very difficult times in their life, but I am not licensed anywhere. I repeat, I am not licensed anywhere. I have not been to a university. I've taken a couple courses and I've actually done a lot of reading on some things psychologically and so on. But however, I am not licensed anywhere. Um, there have been times where I've just kind of guided people in the right direction. I've counseled people on some very difficult situations. That's it. And that's where our conversations have kind of had a juxtaposition where we've had different opinions about things and we kind of felt like it was necessary for us to come on here. So just to field all the questions where people are like, well, what do you know about this, that, and the other? Well, there's some things I tell you straight out from the very beginning. This is my opinion, and you have the right to not listen to it all you want, criticize me all you want about it, but based on my several years of experience here on Earth, this is where I stand on this subject. And if you got another point of view, feel free to share it. But this young lady here, hers is based on actual studies and licensure. So I put a lot of my emphasis on making sure that what I'm saying makes sense based on what she says. So there we have it. So today we're going to talk about mental health, especially from a male standpoint. I've had some very difficult situations in my life. I'm a firm advocate of going into therapy. Um, Adrian, you have been through your schooling as well as your career path has taken you to some very very difficult places, and that has intrigued me. So I have a ton of questions myself. Um, One of the main questions I want to start with is psychiatrist,
Mm.
psychologist. What's the difference?
And you know what? More people don't know that than, and I'm not being funny because it's not something that's talked about a lot. And a lot of
Hmm.
people do ask me. So when I say I'm a psychologist, people be like, wait a minute, you do medication, you can do, and I don't,
Right.
hopefully I'm not looking at them crazy or talking down to them because a lot of people don't know the difference between a psychiatrist and a psychologist.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm glad you brought that. I didn't know we were going to be doing Q&A. I just thought we were going to be talking. Okay.
Surprise.
So the main difference is psychiatrists go to medical school and they can prescribe medication.
Mm-hmm.
Normally you will see a psychiatrist for medication management. Normally it's not an hour. Normally it's like 15, 20 minutes to get to know you, figure out medications you need, figure out what your symptoms are.
Mm-hmm.
Psychologists normally, and I say normally because there's outliers in everything. So normally they do therapy, they can teach, they can PhD levels of different things that psychologists do. And in some states, just like I said in the beginning, North Carolina allows master's level psychologists. Not all states do. Actually, not many states do. I think it might be 3 or 4 more. And it's like Texas, South Dakota, something else. I can't remember. I looked it up when I was looking at moving. But in some states, PhD psychologists are allowed to do medication.
Okay.
Not all states, not everywhere, and I do believe you have to go through a special training to do that.
So you can technically be both.
Yes.
Okay.
But mainly psychiatrists, medication, psychologists, no medication, and therapy. That's the big line between the two.
Okay. Therapist.
Yes.
Both of them are therapists. Just one can prescribe medication for your problem and the other one can't?
Not necessarily. Most of the time, psychiatrists stick to just the medication. They can talk to you about stuff, but 9 times out of 10, they're going to refer you out to somebody else to do the therapy part of it. They can do the therapy part of it, but that's not their main thing.
Right.
They can get you in 15, 20 minutes, get they money instead of talking to you for an hour like a regular therapist. Then
they just look for the disorder portion of it. They just see if you have a specific disorder or something going on, and then go, all right, here's a drug that can fix that.
Yeah, or that could possibly fix it. Like everything is it's a science, but not, because every body literally is different. Yeah, so they will give you a medication. Normally they'll have you take it for a month and do it's normally a month follow-up. If somebody gives you a follow-up longer than that, I would say look into it, but it's normally a month follow-up just to see how the medication is working or not working for you, and then they decide from there. If you have a good psychiatrist, they're going to be following up pretty quickly. So.
Okay. And then I'm going to make the attempt to properly define this, and then you guide me along the appropriate path. Life coach is basically somebody who, like for instance, when somebody goes in for therapy, they're going into therapy with somebody who has a very broad range of understanding about the methodologies by which humans try to solve their own problems. Whereas a life coach is there with the intention of coaching you through maybe a very specific situation in your life, guide you through certain goals and achievements that you have to get through in one facet. Whereas a therapist is helping you in a much more broader range, and they might hone in on very specific things as well. But a life coach is not licensed, primarily because they're just there to help guide you through one situation. So you can go to a life coach, and then once that situation is achieved, that's the end of whatever that's designated for you to deal with. And then with a therapist, you can just keep going to a therapist to help make sure that you are still falling within the range. Am I landing pretty solid there?
Pretty close.
Okay.
I will say with coaching, there's life coach, business coach, relationship coach, different coaches for different things. And it is normally goal oriented. You're trying to reach something.
Right.
And are not licensed. And you did say that, but I have to say that again. Coaches are not licensed. They could have attended a school, they could have gotten their certificate. Life coaching is not licensed or
regulated.
There we go. That's the word. That is the word. Regulated so anybody can do it. So and we've had this discussion, But when you talked about to become a life coach is someone who's giving you help and advice from their life experience, not necessarily from a license or anything else. Where it differs is they can do that. Absolutely. But when it starts getting into the mental health realm is when people are trying to help people with their anxiety, trying to help people with their depression, trying to help people with trauma. Coaching should not do that. They need to drop that, leave that at the door, and get them a therapist.
What about relationships?
Relationships is cool.
Okay.
As a coach, you can do, relationship coaching.
Yep.
That's fine. But
I've done some of that.
Yeah. But when it comes into the trauma with the relationship, the trauma with I don't care. Y'all about to be mad. Even going to a pastor or a church member, they are not or should not be helping you in mental health.
Ooh. Watch out now.
They
Why not?
Because they're not licensed.
Oh. Unless you have a pastor,
Unless they
of course
are.
that is right. But
yeah, unless they are.
Don't just readily assume because it's your pastor that they're licensed to do that because they're licensed as a pastor. You have to be licensed as a psychiatrist or a psychologist and so on.
Yes, or a social worker or LPC or CAP.
Right.
And when we say this, I know we keep talking about license, and I know some people are wondering why it's important. Because you are important. So if somebody is out here not licensed, they can say anything to you, do anything to you, put your business out. They can do a lot of things to you that can harm you, which is why I literally named this mental health help or harm. When people are licensed, we are not able to do that. So TV shows have a lot of this stuff messed up. Like how you see people falling in love with their therapist or their psychologist and they end up in a relationship and that can't happen. That can't happen, and that person keep their license and they continue to practice. That is against the rules, and almost
100%.
every therapy, social worker, counselor, all that, we have a code of ethics. As soon as somebody writes in and they're like, hey, this is what happened, they could lose their job. Like, you cannot. I was telling one of my friends the other day, I was like, what was he asking about? I don't remember, but I was like, he was like, so if you seeing somebody and then like you meet like somebody that's related to them, you can't date them? I said, no, I can't date a relative of somebody else.
Oh, wow.
And see that client.
Right.
Yeah. We have strict rules on what we can and cannot do.
You can't date the relative. You can't even date the relative of a client.
Right.
So like his cousin or his brother or his nephew or something, you can't date them.
Not knowingly, not like,
Got it.
And sometimes I like, if I find out, I'm like, oh, well, I mean, it hasn't happened. So I've been good on that.
Yeah.
But
what about when you see stuff on TV and like they meet each other and then they're kind of hanging out and then they say, oh, well, I can't be your therapist, let me recommend somebody else and now we can go on a date?
If they hadn't started therapy, it's okay. But if they had that first session, if they signed that paperwork, if they did anything with their insurance, they are not allowed to date that person for at least every licensure is different, but at least 5 years.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize there was a time limit on it too.
They put a time limit on it. And that's what I'm saying. The news and the world and TV shows and stuff just have it out here. Like, people can just go and date their therapist.
Do whatever they want.
And I'm about to say this. I know this is going to steer us right into another topic quickly. But I've had people in my inbox that have said, I don't know if I should date you or get therapy. Get therapy.
Get therapy.
Get therapy. Cause
Get
and
the
even
therapy.
with that, when I say get therapy, at that
Hmm.
point, they can't get therapy with me.
Nope.
Because the therapeutic relationship is compromised because now you're attracted to me.
Right, because there's feelings involved.
And we cannot have a therapeutic relationship if somebody is already attracted to you. I've
Yes.
had people see me and thought they were going to talk to me.
Hmm.
Like, oh, I'll just get in this so I can get to know you. And this is no, this is not how you do it.
Oh, you're saying that they came with
Yeah.
they came under the crux of being your client with the
Yes,
intentions of something further, and you was like, oh, well, you did that real quick.
absolutely.
Well, you messed that up there, G.
Absolutely. You should have caught me outside.
Right, 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 right. Should have found me out in these streets. So
Right.
clubbing. So look, one of the directions we wanted to steer in, of course,
Yes.
when we mentioned that the world was worlding,
Yes.
is there are several uh, uh, internet famous individuals, I guess you could say, that
Mm-hmm.
have made the news based on. And I actually had a woman talk me down on one of these people. She was like, "No, she's licensed. She's a licensed therapist," and I was like, "No, she is not." Like it has been repeatedly shown that yes, she went to school. This woman is not licensed anywhere because her degree does not give her license. At least this is what's been stated several times by several people.
Uh-huh.
And like I said, whether what here's my thought.
Mm. I got a lot
Whether
to say
you're
about this.
I'm sure whether you're licensed or not, it doesn't always mean the advice you give is good advice either. You could suck anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like even
Absolutely.
and I'm not licensed. And I might give great advice in comparison to somebody who is licensed, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
I think whether or not that person is giving you good advice is dependent upon the results that you felt. Do you feel better? Are you making a better stride? Are you growing as an individual? Are you heading the right direction? Do you feel are you building better relationships? That's I think the one of the judgment calls as to whether it's actually working.
Yeah, but let me tell you something.
Uh-oh.
Good therapists don't give advice.
Facts. Thank you. I'm glad you said that. You're right. Good therapists are there to give you guidance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. They're not the ones
We
saying you should do X or you should do
right.
Y because all they're doing is recognizing patterns and saying, "Well, have you ever considered this?" Because one of the things that I've noticed is you'll ask a lot of questions, but you're not telling the individual what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in some situations where I've asked the question. I'll be like, "Well, what about X, Y, and Z?" And then you'll rebuttal with the question and be like, "Well, have you considered this?" And I go, oh, wait, no, you're right. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just more of putting guardrails on the thought process that you're using and
Yeah.
saying, wait, hold on, slow down there, buckaroo.
Yeah.
Look over in that corner first before you make your decision. And then I go,
Before we go running
oh,
out in the wild.
right.
Yes.
And same thing. I feel like as a life coach, I've had the opportunity to kind of counsel a few people in some situations, and most of the time I give them back the information that they gave me. I say, okay, most of the time what I'll do is I'll say, tell me your story. They'll, tell me the story of whatever the problem, situation, or concern is. And then I'll go, I'm going to repeat back to you what you said to me in my own words. And then I'll say it back to them. And then they'll go, oh, yeah, I didn't see it that way. And it's like sometimes you just have to hear it from a different source for you to
Yes.
go, yeah, I never saw it like that. I never
I've
took it
I've
that way.
absolutely had moments with clients and I'm like, they're like, how did you do that? Where did you get that from? I'm like, you,
Yeah, I
you,
I
you
got
told
all the
me.
information from you and just fed it right back to you just in a way that, made sense to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. And asking the right questions at the right time about the right situation. I, I don't like talking about myself. I don't know if you can tell.
I
So
know.
we're gonna get off of this real quick. But that's what I do. It seems like I like talking about myself. I like talking. I don't like talking about
Mhm.
myself. So we're gonna get through this. So that's pretty much what I do. I ask the right questions at the right
Mhm.
time about the right situation to help
Mhm.
people go inside themselves and find the answer that's right for them,
Mhm.
not the answer of what I would do, how I would look at it, what would be next for me. I help them find what is next for them and what makes sense for them and
Mhm.
their capabilities and what they can do. Yeah.
I think one of the ones that I'm absolutely blessed with is my conversations with my son. I have a older son who's blessed me with three beautiful grandchildren, and he and I have had some very mature conversations. And even then, I tell him, like, I always start off by saying, son, please know I am not ever going to force you to do anything. This is just what I would do if I were in your situation. And he goes, "No,
Mhm.
I get it, Pop. Go ahead." And I'll explain it, and I'll go, and then I'll also walk through the logic behind why I did what I did. Now we finna circle back because I'm not gonna let this part go. Some of the internet famous personalities that we've seen of late recently have made a name for themselves calling people out.
Yes.
But at least for me personally, I've been a little frustrated because for what they call other people out for, they themselves are also guilty of. Now,
Mm,
I'm going to make this perfectly clear and plain. I'm cool if you want to say how you feel about something, but in the midst of it, make sure that you are open and honest about where you stand in the midst of that mud. Don't be talking about somebody like you on a high hill
mm,
and you actually down there with them in the midst of it. Say, hey, look, because I tell people in a heartbeat, I've told my son before, I'm not going to sit here and explain to you how to get rich if I'm not rich myself, but I will explain to you ways that you can avoid the pitfalls that I have myself have been in. I just
right.
don't like when people walk around with this uh eye of judgment, if you will, and be like, well, how
Yes.
come you out here doing X, Y, and Z and you out here doing X, Y, and Z yourself?
Right. So I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna name names in a second, but I'm gonna get into this and then we'll get into that.
All
So
right.
I was working at the prison. I've been a prison psychologist. Oh my goodness. I don't like talking about myself. There was
You
another
notice I didn't bring it up. I just want to point that out.
I know. But I had to bring this is where we were.
All right.
So there's another psychologist that worked there that had the same licensure as me, LPA.
Yeah.
I told you,
Yeah.
licensed psychological associate.
Yeah.
However, they also got a PhD in EDD, PhD in education. So they have an
Okay.
EDD so they can be called doctor. So
Okay.
because this person could be called doctor, they made sure that everybody called them doctor even though it was misleading to make it seem as if they were a doctor in psychology, when in actuality they had a
You were a doctor
master's
in
in
education.
psychology
Got
and
it.
a doctorate in education.
Yeah.
But at the prison, people would be thinking that this person was higher
Doctor's a
than the
doctor.
rest of us who were
Mhm.
social workers and counselors and LPAs because they were called doctor,
Right. Right.
but she wasn't.
No.
So this goes into, I don't know the lady's name. You know her name. Do you know her name?
No.
The
Who?
one that's been called doctor, that's Dr. So and so that
Oh, that was out in the streets at that
yeah,
event wearing the skimpy outfit, Dr.
yeah.
Cheyenne Bryant. Yeah, I know who you talking about, homie. Yeah. Yeah.
So okay, I ain't gonna talk about nothing nobody wear because I hey, I wear what I want to wear when I want to wear it.
Nah,
However, I ain't
you
talking
would
about nobody. I'm not
you
talking
would
about what nobody wear either.
you wouldn't have wore what she wore. I put
I
money
saw
on
it.
it.
I saw it. Okay, but I'm just saying, I'm not talking
I
about
got
what
you.
people wear as well.
Yeah.
So from what I hear, that's what's happened. I don't know. I don't follow her. I'm not listening to her. I've seen a couple of clips, so I am not like look it up, y'all, because I haven't.
Mhm.
What I have heard, so that she's a doctor and she
Uh-huh.
graduated from Argosy, right?
Yes.
Is that the name of the college?
That's yes.
So let me tell you about Argosy.
Uh-huh.
What I know about Argosy, I looked into Argosy What year is this? What two? Oh my gosh.
Uh-huh.
I looked into Argosy 20 years ago. Oh
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
my, I
Yeah.
graduated. Oh my goodness. So I looked into Argosy.
Mm-hmm.
I looked into Argosy because one, they were close. They seemed easy to get into.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a side D program.
Mm-hmm.
A side D is almost like a it's almost like a PhD in psychology,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a side D because you don't necessarily have to do the dissertation part.
Okay.
It's more so for people who are going to be doing mostly therapy and counseling, but you
Mm-hmm.
can be called a doctor.
Yes.
So when I was looking into Argosy, I knew I wanted to be licensed.
Mm-hmm.
The issue with Argosy at the time, which I'm assuming is what is still going on, their accreditation would come in and out.
Mm-hmm.
The psychology board did not have them as one of the schools that you could go to and then you can be licensed from when you finished. So they said she went to Argosy. I don't know the degree, so I'm just gonna tell you what I heard. So y'all can come at me if you want to. I don't care.
So
I didn't feel like doing the research, but go ahead.
so I will say this. I gotta throw a couple of things because I can already feel the shots, and I haven't said anything as a male. I'm gonna point this a couple of things out. I did quickly jump over and check something out,
Mm,
and what I discovered was that she does have a double degree
okay.
in psychology and Pan African studies. Okay,
Okay.
that she went to Cal State University of Northridge at 17. And while she was there, that's where she got those. And then during her first 2 years, she was undecided in her field. So if you type in right now, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, it doesn't say she's like a therapist or a licensed clinical therapist. It
Yeah.
comes up and says lifestyle guru.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she has marketed herself to be, as a lifestyle guru.
Right.
Now, with regard to her manner of dress, I'm like you. I like my manner of dress. Sometimes I like wearing all black t-shirts with one logo on it. Sometimes I like wearing, jeans and a t-shirt, but I still got a closet full of hard bottom Stacey Adams that I'm ready to rock with a suit in a heartbeat whenever the day shows up. Okay. I still got my cutoff t-shirts. A lot of people were criticizing her because they were saying, "Oh, well, she came out in that see-through outfit." And my thing is, look, that woman should be proud of her body for her age, for what she's been doing. She's worked out, she's kept herself well, she's kept herself up, and maybe that's what she decided to wear at that time. And that's what, and as far as I know, she doesn't have a man right now that she's either married to or committed to, that she stepped out with, that I know of, right? So she ain't got nobody to answer to. So she ain't checking for me. So what difference does it make?
Right.
I am all for people being free with what they want to do. I know for a fact that my issue came in when she jumped on Cam Newton's podcast and she chewed Cam Newton up. Then she jumped on, who was it? Shannon Sharp's podcast, and she chopped him up on Club Shay Shay. But then when she got in front of Pierce, my boy Paul, he called her to the carpet, was like, "Oh, so who you with and what y'all been doing?" And she basically opened, and the same thing you said earlier. I'm not basing it off anything I found out. I'm basing it off of what you said. She was like,
Right.
"Yeah, me and this guy been dealing with each other for a while. I don't think we're in a place and he's like, "Oh, so basically you've been doing the same thing. You just ain't been popping out no babies." Okay, cool. And my
Mm,
whole thing was, if she wanted to chop up Cam and Shay, that's cool. But I feel like, at least for me, when I'm giving advice, I tell my son, or I tell the people, I say, "Hey, look, the reason I'm able to tell you this is because I've been through X, Y, and Z. And I recognize that my situation isn't the same as your situation, but I at least want you to know that I'm telling you from a place that's non-judgmental. I ain't here to judge you. Okay.
right.
I don't care what your situation is. Whether you streetwalker, if you a stripper, if you a church girl and you ain't never done anything wrong in your entire life, I'm not going to judge you for impure thoughts and all that foolishness. I'm not here to judge you. I've lived a life where people have judged me all my life, and that's a whole other story of the trauma that I've dealt with, and I didn't like how it felt. And I feel like that's what's put me in a position to be somebody that people can speak to without feeling like every time, how I
Yeah.
feel like people are comfortable listening to me because when I respond, I don't respond with judgment. So when you're
Right.
telling me your story, I don't like, oh, is that what you did? Ugh. I don't do that
Right.
because I'm like, all right, so I've heard worse. Trust me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I think that's where not only myself, but other people. And so I don't have the same viewpoint that other men do, like, oh, she shouldn't have worn that. My bad. Go ahead.
Right. So, and also getting back to, again, I don't know much about her. Sounds like she was talking about mental health or
Mm-hmm.
talking about people getting help. And
Mm-hmm.
you know what? I, bless the mental health advocates. However, when you're putting mental health in front
Yes.
of something, people are going to believe that you are going to be able to help them. And the fact that somebody reached out to you,
Yeah.
maybe for help, because they didn't
Oh,
say, let me see what that thing do in the message. Like you literally said, the man
yeah.
asked you, who was it? Offset? Meet somebody.
Yeah.
Who was
Offset. No, it was Offset that
Yeah.
reached out to her and she brought it up and said, but he wasn't my client, so I can say this. But as a
No,
professional,
no, no.
you
Because I
still
just
should have
told you a
said that.
story about men being in my inbox. I didn't say no names.
Right.
I won't say names because
Right.
even though they're not my client and probably and won't be, they will
Hmm.
not be my client because they,
They tried
said
it.
they were interested.
Yeah.
They won't be my client. I won't
Yeah.
tell people who they are.
Yeah.
That's not. But when you don't have a and the code of ethics, technically, I could tell you who they are.
Technically.
But for me being licensed, me putting somebody on blast that just reached out to me and they didn't become my client, that is still not a good look when it comes to
Mm-mm.
like other people wanting to come to me. So now like
Mm-mm.
people aren't going to want to talk to you because it's like, oh, you talk to her, she's going to tell everybody you came to
Tell
her
everybody your
that you
business.
asked her about therapy and didn't
Yeah.
sign up. Like, no,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
you can't. Like, you absolutely can't if they sign up, and you shouldn't. If somebody is reaching out to you for help, you shouldn't put their business out there.
No.
And
Because
she
as
doesn't even
part
know what the business is because she said she didn't go
she
any
didn't go any
further.
further. Right. And I think especially for not only males but black males, it's
Mm,
already difficult enough to get black males to want therapy at all because they all think, man, I'm good, I'm hard, I'm straight, I can do this on my own. And no, and I'm telling you right now, as somebody who has had some, I've had to do some legit shadow work, and it was hard. There were years that I was quiet, and even now, people don't
mm-hmm,
understand it, and they're like, why you act so different? I'm like, I don't act different. I just move differently because I'm trying to protect my mental health and protect yours.
mm-hmm. And
I've been through some storms.
for men to reach out, and even like I said, I will tell them, hey, you can't see me, but I can tell you who you can see.
But I can
I
recommend some folks.
always pass on information because
Right,
someone getting help is more important to me than anything else.
right.
So because they were both, and I don't know what he was thinking. He could have been
Yeah.
thinking, oh, she's in the public eye, seem like she can help people, seem like she does this.
Hmm.
I'm gonna reach out to see if I can get some help.
Right,
Maybe he
right,
could have been attracted to her. Who
right.
knows?
Who knows?
Because she didn't
Right.
go any further with the conversation, or she didn't tell us anymore. And that's not, she shouldn't have told us what she told us. We shouldn't know
No,
this at all. We shouldn't
no.
know this man reached out to talk to somebody
Correct.
about what's going on with him.
Shouldn't have
We
brought
should
it up
not
at
know.
all. No,
Right.
shouldn't have brought it up at all. I also just looked up one real quick. I know we've
Hmm.
mentioned her before, and this isn't just oh, well, a couple of people. The dating coaches are a completely separate
Yeah,
category.
they
We'll
are.
probably
They
end up doing something else. So the Kendra G's, the Kevin Samuels, who's my personal favorite that we've had, Derek Jackson.
I like me some Kendra G. I might go on
That
her show,
that's a
but go
separate
ahead.
that's a separate that's a separate category. Okay, that's a
Yes.
totally different category.
Yes, because they're
Because
relationship coaches, and that's
correct,
what they talk about. And they're gonna drag you, they're gonna tell you about your stuff, they're gonna tell you about your relationship, they're gonna tell you, they might tell you you're not even a good person. But that's relationship coaching. That's not
who there's
therapy.
another one. She just got blasted not too long ago. Her I can't remember her name, but apparently like one of her calls came out where she was talking to the woman who was dating it. She was a dating coach, and she came out and she was like, I can have him anytime I want. Apparently she was the side piece, and she's the dating coach, and she's the
Oh,
side
wow.
piece, and she was like, I can have him anytime I want. And I was like, oh my God. But I
But
think
that goes back to when stuff is not regulated, people
nah,
do.
whatever they want,
Yeah.
you
And
know.
you don't want to know what people want to do all the
Mm-mm,
time. You
nah,
see it.
nah,
And it's, oh my
nah.
gosh. Like I don't even know where I was about to go. So
I know I don't judge nobody. That's all I'm saying.
I try not to. But and I will say, so my ex-husband is moving back to the area.
Okay.
So I literally called him up and was like, you start dating somebody in North Carolina,
Hmm.
run it by me.
Check with me first. Well,
I need
wait.
to.
I think you need to clarify because, let me clarify.
Yes,
She has a very she Adrian has a very mature relationship with her ex-husband. They're
yes,
cool with each other.
yes,
Unlike some of the rest of y'all that hate your ex and can't stand them and would hit them with the first vehicle that you had in your possession, she has a very healthy relationship with her ex where they can speak to each other like human beings. So
yes,
that's why she said she's not saying running by her as if to say, well, you need to check in with me first. She's saying run it
right.
by her because I don't want you to end up hurt because I know some of these chicks out in these streets
And not
ain't here to
only
do you no good.
and
So
not only hurt, I got to make sure they're not one of my clients.
that too.
Like, hopefully, they will recognize the last name because my last name is not common, and I got it from him. I kept the last name from him.
Right. Right.
So hopefully they will
Hmm.
see that. But I see single women all around North Carolina, and I don't want no problems. So I was like, before if they don't recognize who you are, you let me know just in
Right.
case.
Right.
Because I'm
Right.
gonna have to stop seeing that person.
Right. You were like, well, I heard you made a new friend. She'd be like, oh, girl, how'd you hear about it? That's a long story.
Yes.
But let's
Yes.
just say you can't be my client no more.
Yes. Like you, but
But you got to
we
go.
we I'll give you give you Amber's phone number. That's my
That's
therapist.
right.
I've sent people to.
Right, right, right. I give you my other homie's phone
I'll
number.
give
Here
you
you
her
go.
phone number because we can't do it no more. So and people don't even recognize or realize that. And
Hmm.
the nuances that come with being a therapist. I don't even go to certain places much anymore because I might have a few clients there.
Right,
And I'm
right.
like, oh, people like, I didn't see you at such and such. I'm like, oh,
You ain't need to see me.
yeah,
Go away.
because we have to worry about the comfort level of the client and not the comfort level of us.
That's true. That's
And
true.
we can't, there's so many things we can't do. Like if you see it like as licensed people, if we see a client, we can't go up to them. If they say something to us or come up to us, we can do that. We can
Oh,
say what it.
wow.
I've had people. I've been in Walmart
Hmm.
from when I worked in the prison, and somebody was
Hmm.
like, "Miss Charleston," I was like, "Oh, it's somebody from the prison." I knew it when they said my name, and I was like, and they were with some friends, and they was like, "Yo, this my therapist from the prison," and so I was like,
Oh, wow. They just
"Oh my
blowing up your
goodness."
spot.
But I've been out and running to clients, and they're like, "Hey, y'all, this my therapist." So like, people don't care nowadays. But the thing is, I can't say it.
Right,
They
right.
can say it.
It
They can.
sounds like it's a courtesy.
Yes.
I'll say from my standpoint, because I'm not in the same position as you, but like, say, just in general, unless it's family, I'm not gonna tell you who I am to this individual. I'm just
No.
gonna say, hey, how you doing? Shake your hand, and call it a day.
And let that
But
person tell it.
and let that person tell it. Otherwise, like I think that's just a common civility that you should have with other individuals is just to be like,
Yes.
hey, how
And
you doing? This is so and so.
and this is how tight, not just tight-lipped I am, tight-lipped that I have to be, but I am that person. Like I can hold, I'm a vault.
Hmm.
I've had one of my close friends, one of your friends too, that
Hmm.
we hang out with. When you come here, we all go out to eat and hang out and stuff. she introduced me to one of my clients.
Oh.
As they were one of my clients. Me and her are like this.
Right.
She met this person somewhere and they ended up in a place where we were. And she was like, oh, I want you to meet so-and-so. Come here. And I looked at them and they looked at me and she was like, oh, this is so-and-so. And I was like, hey, how you doing? My name
Hey,
is
how you doing? Because that way you didn't violate anything. And then it also, it allows the client to make the decision whether they say, yeah, I know who that is. That's my therapist. But
right.
You kept it. Yeah. But see,
they didn't.
There's so
they
many
never
people.
said it. So
Yeah.
my friend never knew.
Yeah.
And I can't say anything to my friend about it.
No.
So that's what I'm saying. People don't understand the line we have to walk as licensed therapists, not just people out here just.
I think that's just people in general, though. Is you don't pay attention to the nuance, and to be honest with you, that's one of my frustrations. I'm not gonna lie, is people don't pay attention to the nuance in humanity. Like we put all this emphasis on, and I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I used to do it too, on and I've been doing some more digging into some stuff and reading and spending some more time in my shadow closet with Carl Jung and little things like we always think, oh, well, this is what the universe wants for me and blah, blah, blah. No, sometimes stuff happens, bro. Sometimes you just get dealt a bad hand because here's the thing. The universe doesn't operate off of what's good and what's bad because what's good and what's bad is basically a generalization of how you feel about what's good and what's bad. So what's bad for you might not be bad for the next person. So how should it know? And the universe isn't conspiring to figure out which one's best for you. It's literally just it's a series of equations and mathematical possibilities and statistical probabilities that may or may not happen. But ain't nothing working like that. And all you have to do is figure out the best way for you to navigate through all that appropriately and promisefully. Now, if you want to stay, in a positive mindset or prayed up and so on and so forth, great. I said all that to say this. I was leading up to a question for you. At what point do you feel an individual is just having a bad day or they legitimately do need to come see you for therapy?
I think everybody legitimately should go to therapy. Because, and I tell everybody this, not just my clients. So people think that therapists are in place to help them through a crisis, to help them through the bad times, to help them through a lot of things. But if you come to a therapist when you're in crisis, when you're having a bad moment, the therapist is not able to get to know you on a base level. They know you when you're having stuff
anxiety
going on.
level. Yep.
Yes, and then they disappear and they come back when something else is going on. But the real work happens when you're not going through crisis, because that allows the therapist to know you. That allows the therapist to help you with tools, put things in place, prepare you for those bad days, for those crises, for those things. So you'll have the tools to better navigate them while you're in them. So it's best to get something in place. And if nothing else, if you don't, and a lot of people think they ain't got nothing going on. They come in for one thing and I'm like, so we're gonna work on this and this and this. And then they look at me like, I'm like, I'm just going off what you told me.
Yeah.
We got all of that. But and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. And they think they don't have a lot, but sometimes we can't get to the root of stuff. So just like we talked about life coaches and therapists, a lot of times we have to get to the root of stuff so we can work from the root up. Life coaching and stuff is surface level. We're going to work on this thing. We're going to make this goal. We're going to get to the next point. They don't necessarily go deeper and shouldn't, because they don't always have, I was going to say not always have the tools. They may have the tools. They just don't have the licensure and shouldn't do it because it could be harmful.
Right.
So that's what we do. And it's best to form a relationship with a therapist before you're in crisis and you're sitting there, you don't know what to do but cry. You can't say, and it's difficult to get to know somebody when they're in that state. to figure out who they are and how you can help them. Because once you start therapeutic relationship, when you're not in crisis, I'm better able to know how this person thinks, what's next for them, how they're going to do stuff. And then we can work on the crisis or the bad days together.
Right. Right. Plus, you know who they are at baseline, and you
Yes.
can see what the differences are from baseline to what their anxiety level is, and then go,
Yes.
okay,
Or
yeah, this
depression.
isn't normally you. Yeah. Yeah.
Or the depression. Or I've had people call me and be like, "Oh, I'm doing great. I've been doing such 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 such," and I said,
Huh.
"You take your medication?"
Huh.
They be like, "No, I've been off of it." I said, "You're manic. Call your psychiatrist. Get yourself back on track."
You're doing
But
great,
I
huh?
know
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
You work with people long enough, you know what is going on with them in their mind. They're like, "No, I'm doing great." No,
No, you're
no,
not. No, you're not.
no. You're
No.
too.
Yeah. 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 And
Yeah.
you know what you find out sometimes, and you and I have had this conversation because I got nervous about some things about myself,
Mm.
and you've had to walk me through some things. And maybe this is something we'll talk about on a deeper level on another episode, but where people are going around, no, I think this is a good one,
Yeah. Go
where
ahead.
people are going around handing out psychological diagnoses
Absolutely.
based on things that they have seen or read
Mm-hmm.
and being like, I think this person is this. I think this person is this. And then I come to you and you be like, man, they don't know what they talking about. They ain't even close because they ain't got no degree. They ain't got no clue because there's other hidden factors. And so I let me take a step back. I was watching a TV show with somebody and um I remember seeing something came up and they made this very broad statement about, well, a person is lying if they do X, Y, and Z. And I go, that's not an indication of a person. I know what it was. They said, a person is lying if they repeat your question. And I thought to myself, that sounds stupid because what if I just didn't understand your question?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what happens is we hear these, and especially me as an actor, I've been in situations where somebody will make a very broad statement on a TV show, and I'll be like, and the engineer in me won't let it go because I'll be like, nah, because I can think of 45 different scenarios where that is 100% incorrect, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the science doesn't match up. But people will hear that on a television show and be like, yeah, I heard this on a TV show. It's true. And I'll be like, no, it's not. The TV show is wrong. And so are you idiot. So I think the same thing is happening with this generation of people who are watching these podcasters and all these individuals who are talking about mental health, to your point, and then creating these diagnoses that then people run out with and go, yeah, you're this, you're that, based on this psychological
Buzzwords.
diagnosis. Buzzwords that the all-time favorite one, this one by heart. When
Yes.
people go around talking about, oh, you a narcissist, and you be like, hold
Yes.
on, I'm a
Yeah.
narcissist, and I freaked out and I've heard it a couple times, and then you had to steer me right and go, Negro, you ain't no narcissist. Shut up.
I
Because
did. It was quick too. So look, we're gonna get into it since we telling it. So he called
yeah,
me up in a panic and he was like, "Oh my goodness, I think I'm a narcissist." Somebody called me that, and then I read up on it and I got the traits, and I think this. I was like, if you don't get off my phone with this BS.
but here's the funny part, ladies and gentlemen. Check out why she said this. Why is it when I called you in a panic? And I mean, I had done the research. I had spent several hours in it, and I'm in a legit sweat panic. And I said, the only person I can trust with this information is Adrian. Adrian, help me out here. Like, do I display traits? You've known me for a long time. Do I display traits of a narcissist? She legit on the phone said to me, man, if you don't get off my phone. I said, why? What'd I say?
And I was like, a narcissist wouldn't call and ask if they were a narcissist because they wouldn't care.
But for me personally, I would care because and there are some things that I'm willing to admit that I'm not a perfect person. I know I've
Oh
hurt
no, you
people in my
can
past.
come. You can
I can come
absolutely
off.
come off as an a-hole.
Oh no, I own that though.
But
I'm an
you're not a
asshole.
narcissist.
Right.
But I think the reason you come off to some people as an a-hole is because of how your brain works. Sometimes you can be very black and white, which is what you call the engineer brain. And when you ask questions, for some people, it makes them defensive. Not that the question is wrong or that you shouldn't ask it. You just want to know, because you're quick to be like, but why? And I'm
Yeah.
like, but
Because
but some people
I'll be
don't have the
hoping that by
patience.
asking that question, they'll realize how stupid the question was. I'll be like, yeah, but why do you feel like that?
But they don't want to think further than that. They just want to say what they got to say, and they don't want to answer the but why. But the but why makes them think about it, and then they get irritated, and then it's your fault. Not necessarily it was a bad question. It's that they don't want to think about that, and they don't want to go deeper than what they've
Yeah.
been, and now they're mad at you, and you're the a-hole.
And I'm gonna tell you this right now. It that was a requirement for me to forgive myself in a lot of situations that I had to let go of,
Mm-hmm.
because then I started to sit with myself and I go, well, Sean, but why did they leave, as far as like people in my life? And I'd go, well, I don't know. And then I would be having this interview with myself and I go, well, if you were to ask them what you did wrong, what would they say? And I'd be like, I don't even know. I don't know. And a lot of time, I think, who is this? And you've probably said this to me a couple times too. A lot of times, the way
The fifth
people
why?
treat you,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, exactly. The five whys. So
Yeah.
yes, and I do that all the time, is to go down the list and ask and get to the root cause of it. But a lot of times, what you'll find is the reason people treat you the way they treat you is because that's the way they're treating themselves.
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And you just happen to be the target because it's basically all deflection. They don't
Yeah.
want to deal with the trauma that they have, so they just deal with it by projecting it onto you. A
Yeah.
lot like the narcissists who were in my life that were like, no, you're the problem. And I'm going, I am? What did I do? What did I say?
Mm-hmm.
What
Mm-hmm.
can I do to correct it? And I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off trying to solve a problem that they don't want solved.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do want to go. I'm gonna talk about myself a little bit because
Yes,
we hit
please.
on some stuff and about both of our experiences.
Hmm.
So I say a lot that most of the things I've learned in my life, I learned growing up in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Don't play with it. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about people. I learned a lot about trauma, death. And I
Yeah.
say that, but growing up, I didn't realize it was trauma because that was just how that world was. And I'll
Yeah.
say that. Like some stuff I've seen.
Yeah.
People beaten, shot,
Hmm.
killed, run over. I've
Hmm.
seen, I tell people all the time it's not much that I haven't seen in life. And so because sometimes I get clients and they're like, oh, my stuff is too bad. And because I come off as bubbly and happy, because I'm
Right.
bubbly and happy, they're like, oh, I don't want to offend your sensitive ears. So sometimes I have to, one, tell people how old I am.
Hmm.
Two,
Same here.
remind, let them know I've worked in a prison. But
Hmm.
even working in the prison is not where I had the worst, learned. I know, right? It sounds crazy, don't it? That's not
That's
it.
yo, homie. I'm sorry. I gotta break decorum here. That sounds fucking crazy. Did you just say I worked in a prison, but a bulk of my real world scenarios didn't even come from the prison? It came from where I grew. Yo, your trauma is ridiculous, yo.
I mean, it's not much that I hadn't seen. And even before, well, my first job in the military was in the prison, but I didn't, well, no, I did come across quite a few killers and stuff. But then I was working in legal, and especially as a court reporter, some of the
Yeah.
stuff that I came across there, some
Hmm.
of the stuff I came across just working in the military,
Hmm.
you see the you see a different subset of people. And some
Yeah.
of this stuff I can talk about
Hmm.
because I wasn't a therapist then, and I don't
Right.
remember anybody's name. And military court records are public record.
Right.
So if you want to look up any of this stuff, you can
You can look it up on your own.
absolutely go look it up. But one of the things I realized, when I was working defense, when I was working trial defense, that is the time I realized I wanted to be a psychologist, because I wanted to know why people did what they did.
What they did.
Also, I know in the last episode we talked about Diddy and all this other stuff. And as you see, like, we talked about how can people support him. And as I thought about it afterwards, I was like, even when I worked on these cases, people who I'll say that, but I mean all the way. This dude was a serial. He still had family that loved him, that showed up, that supported him through these court cases that he had to go through. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like the reason that they still support him is because to admit that he's a monster would mean that they allowed the monster to continue. Because even like I think Dave Chappelle was jokingly saying that he doesn't necessarily support Diddy, but he didn't want to go full-fledged against Diddy because Diddy was the one that tackled the attacker that jumped on the stage and was running after Chappelle. So he was like, Diddy was the first one to get him. You know what I'm saying? And I know it was all part of his shtick and everything, but I feel like there's a part of us as humans that wants to empathize with them somewhat, because they're like, if they haven't seen that side of you, they are ready to just they're quick to be like, yeah, but I've never seen that. And that's why I stand on, there's a monster in every last one of us.
Oh, absolutely. And
all
this person, when I'm like I said, we were on defense. So the lawyer I was working with was defending him. I had to deal with him. Perfectly nice person, but he still was a serial. And I do believe many things can be true for anybody. And I tell people this, I've been telling this story since I was 20 some years old. I don't put anything past anybody.
Nope.
And this is what Fayetteville, North Carolina taught me. I don't put anything past anybody. If somebody called me tomorrow and be like, my mama shot so-and-so in the face on such and such road, I'll be like, well, what'd they do? I'm not gonna say she ain't do it. Because I don't know.
Right. Because you don't know. Push to the brink, and that goes back to what I was saying before. That's the crux of what makes me mad, is when people be like, oh, well, you know, when we sit on this high horse and we act so judgmental about people's situations, and you're like, you don't know what you would have been if you would have been placed in their situation.
No.
You don't know who you would have been, or what scenario you'd have found yourself in.
Well,
you don't know what led them to that.
Except the Diddy situation. I know who I would have been. A lot of people know who they would have been. So besides that, we're talking about more of like having to fight for your life, violence, stuff like that. That's different.
Yes.
We ain't talking about willingly just out here.
Yeah, no, you're right. Well,
stuff.
but same thing. But like, for instance, I'll put it this way: we would all like to believe that we know.
Right.
Because I would like to believe that even if you injected my life with a significant amount of not only money, but power and fame and influence, that I would still not want to go to that edge, because we all saw the stuff that we saw in there. He seemed like he was a nerdy little kid with just a lot of aspiration. And then on top of that,
you already know.
Oh yeah.
If you allow me to be around, I'm gonna put you in check.
I allow you. I don't think you would. You'd be like, if y'all don't let me in, I need to cuss him out right quick, and they'd be like, yes, ma'am. So yeah, and that also goes to having the appropriate counsel around you. And I say counsel not to mean counselor or therapist, but the appropriate family and friends, people, the appropriate tribe in your life. But those people should at least know you well enough to know you, and to know not to disrespect things like. And I think that's why what Dr. Cheyenne did bothered me so much when she mentioned, oh, he's not my client, so I can say this. My thing is, but do I have to be your client for you not to violate my trust?
Right.
Right. You know, and I don't know her personally, so this isn't a shot at her, but I'm just saying, I'm using it as an example. I feel like just having her in the spotlight has has sparked a lot of questions with regard to mental health in general, whether
Yeah.
it be about men and women. And I'm glad for that.
Yes.
I think the conversation about Cam Newton and, is he developing broken families and, what's going on with Nick Cannon and him wanting to populate the earth and all that kind of stuff. I think those are necessary conversations. I think
Yeah.
that there are a lot of men and women laying in bed right now with a woman should be having that conversation.
And I'm gonna say, I know we need to wrap up because we said we was gonna try to keep it at an hour, but I got two things. I got two things to talk about.
Okay.
One, I love Ayanna Van Zant.
Oh yeah.
She is not licensed. This is why she can
I
do
did
and
not know
say.
that.
This is why she can do it. Double check. Look it up while I'm talking.
You go
This
ahead.
is why she can do and say some of the things that she does and some of the things that she says. Because if you notice, she does a lot of touching and hugging and loving on people.
Yes.
So that is another thing that most therapists don't do. We're not. That's something I know I don't cross the touching boundary because ain't no need for us to be touching.
Facts.
But she's good at what she does, but
Hmm.
also we still have to be mindful of what happens before and after. And this goes for Dr. Phil too. I know he used to
Hmm.
be licensed. I think he lost his license. But
Hmm.
when you're doing stuff for TV, you have to be very mindful that 9 times out of 10 these people are not licensed because the license does not allow you to be on TV in that way doing the things that you're doing.
That's true.
At
Now,
least not under the license. But go ahead.
so okay, so this is what it says, that she holds a Juris Doctor degree from the City University of New York School of Law
Yes,
and a
yep.
master's degree from the University of Santa Monica Center for the Study and Practice of Spiritual Psychology, and
Okay.
she's an ordained New Thought minister. I didn't know that.
So not licensed, not a licensed
Not
therapist.
not a licensed therapist. That's a great
Right.
point. You know
But
what? And I didn't even think about her.
and anytime that you, and this is for everybody, anytime that you're looking for a therapist, I always tell people look for a therapist like you on a dating site. Because some of those sites are, you have
Right.
Psychology Today, Therapy for Black Girls,
Mm-hmm.
Boris L. Henson Foundation, Loveland Foundation. All of
Mm-hmm.
them have profiles of people.
Yeah.
Go through those profiles,
Yep.
see who you match up with,
Yep.
and also Google that person. If you can't find a licensure for somebody,
Mm-hmm.
or everybody's stuff is out there, it has to be public record. You can find the licensure, you can find where they were licensed, you can look up their license. All of that stuff is public record on everybody,
Right.
and you can see if their license is up to date.
I'm gonna
Yes.
point this out too. Dr. Phil lost his license because he voluntarily retired his active license in Texas back in
Yeah.
2006.
Yeah.
So he
So
didn't
he
lose his license because of something he did wrong.
right.
He lost his license because, and correct me if I'm wrong in this situation, when
Mhm.
you say you have a license, you have to renew it like you would any other license, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Mine is every 2 years. Yes.
So that's another thing that we have to stipulate here is that if you are a licensed person, a licensed individual has to renew that license under a
Hmm.
certain number of times as well. So you can't
Yes.
just say you licensed after just doing it once.
Right.
It's not like
And
getting a degree.
yes, and from what I don't know what my understanding is. From what I understand, he gave it up so he could do the TV thing because he
Yes.
was getting flack from the Texas board about some of the things he was doing and saying.
Hmm.
So that leads into the next person you told me. You made me watch this documentary the other day
Yes.
about Hilda. What was her name?
Hilda Lebowski, what was it?
Doctor some, I don't know. She
Yeah,
was
I'm
she
gonna
she
find it.
was licensed.
Yes.
The difference with that is she was licensed. She ended up on probation with her license because she was seeing this man and then reported to his school and where he worked that he was addicted to porn and a deviant or something like that. So that's why she
Oh
got her
yeah.
stuff. She
Yeah.
ended up on probation. And
Yeah.
this person, when you find the name, let me know.
Mhm.
It was the evil influencer or something.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
the influencer chick who had the mom influencer, didn't have the first child.
yep.
She latched onto this lady with 6 kids, and they were influencing and they were abusing the kids and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they had her as the head person. So, and even going back to our last show when we were talking about people being groomed and everything, and remember how I talked about people being susceptible?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So how she did it and how she was getting into these people's homes and getting into their minds and all this stuff. One, she came in as an authority figure, as a licensed therapist. She came in.
Jody Hildebrandt.
There it is, Jody Hildebrand. She
Mm-hmm.
came in. She came into the church. Most of these people were in the Church of Latter-day Saints who already believe in something, and they believe in their elders. They believe in the church. They already had this belief of something. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people like that are easier to get to because that's how they're raised. This is where they are. So we're back to people being susceptible to things.
Mm-hmm.
And then this counselor, who
Mm-hmm.
people hold in high regard, was also recommended to the parishioners by somebody high up in the church.
Yep.
So that recommendation and then the stuff that she was doing, it allowed her to be able to do those things because she
Right.
had a high recommendation, and the people believed in the church. She was in the church, so they believed in her. She was out there wrecking homes. She had these women leaving these men. She had these men saying that you can't have contact with your family for 6 months to a year. No contact.
And they were paying her.
They were paying her monthly
This
to do
this
so.
this chick was pulling down $46,000 a
A month.
month. You
Just
paying this woman $1,000 every week just to tell you to stay away from your kids and your wife, and that you
so,
addicted to porn.
yeah. And they weren't.
What?
Most of them were not. They didn't have anything. Some, if you looked at it once, it was an addiction. Like, she had these people thinking and believing, breaking up these homes. The one family that she broke up, she moved into the house. You're not
Mm-hmm.
supposed, first of all, you're not supposed to, as a licensed person, you're not even supposed to ask your clients for anything.
No.
She asked them for money. She moved
Mm-hmm.
into their house. She took over. She moved the man out. And then how they got caught is they were abusing. I mean, the mom
Their
was
own
there.
children. Yeah.
Yeah, the mom was there.
Mm-hmm.
And the dad hadn't been around for over 6 months.
Dad didn't
He
even
was,
know what was going on.
he was on the no contact thing that she had everybody around there doing until the man healed himself. And she was starving these kids, tying them up, telling them
And
they
that's
were
how they
the
got caught.
devil. Yeah, the little boy got away and was asking for food. And it was so sad. He was sitting there like, it's my fault. No, they didn't do anything to me. It's my fault. Like, this is,
Brainwashed.
yeah, grooming, brainwash. And people talk about it all the time. Like, oh, that couldn't be me. That couldn't be. You've been brainwashed before. Somebody's
I
stayed and you've done some stuff for people. Yeah.
Yes, I have. I'm not gonna lie. I have. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. I have.
So
And
I'm
it,
going to
and
go
it,
back.
and it starts
Mhm.
it starts very simply, and you
Yeah.
think, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. But I think that we should emphasize too, and this is probably something else we need to talk about.
Mm.
It starts small
Yes.
and it builds on, like you said, it builds on something that you're susceptible to.
Yes.
And it helped me realize a lot of my trauma,
Mm.
my hypervigilance, and me being such an introvert sometimes, and the need or desire to want to like do something for someone or fix something, the engineer in me wanting to fix not just stuff but people,
Yeah.
and finding a project, like you always tell me, you always finding a project that you need to fix. And you're right, dead on. Like, and no disrespect to the people that I've engaged with in my life, whether relationship or friends or whatever, but in a lot of cases that I'm willing to own up to my own part in it. There were times maybe I found people to be projects, and I'm very aware, self-aware of that now, and I stop myself ahead of time. And to those who have seen me go no contact or pull away or back off, sometimes I realize either I'm making you my project or I'm allowing myself to be your project, and I don't want that.
Right. And I had one more thing to say, and I can't remember what it was. It was something about, so, and as you just said, brought that up, and I did say we were getting out. We're gonna finish after this. I'm gonna make this last point. So, what people don't understand, you can be groomed at any time, any stage, any age.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you also have seen, and this is gonna seem off topic with mental health, but it is on topic with the grooming and how people can be susceptible. I know
Mm-hmm.
you've seen the cases where the people who work at prisons getting in relationships with prisoners, bringing them stuff, doing stuff. They groom those people. And
Yeah.
I've been working at a prison since I was 18 years old. So my first prison was Leavenworth, the big military prison in Kansas. And again,
Your first prison
Fayetteville
was
taught me.
Leavenworth
Yeah.
in Fayetteville. I want y'all to pick up on what just happened because some of y'all might have caught it, but maybe you don't understand this. She said she been working in prisons since she was 18 years old, and one of the prisons she worked in is the very famous, most of you probably know it, is Leavenworth. And what prepared her to work in said prison? Fayetteville. Damn.
Well, I say that because what it taught me was I don't trust people. I'm not giving you nothing. You're not talking to me any kind of way. Like a lot of things, I had a big attitude when I came into the military. Like people didn't think I was gonna make it because I'm gonna need you to stop laughing at me.
Ooh. The city of
So
Fayetteville gonna call you up and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna need you to stop talking about us like that, homie."
hey, no, they taught me well. So I would get like when I started working there, I was new, young, all this stuff. So like I would get inmates be like, hey, can you let me use that pen you got? No. And they be like, why can't you use your pencil? Because it's not pen. Like, and then like one time somebody be like, hey, I see you chewing gum. Can you give me some gum? No. Let me
Nah,
have some. I can chew some for you. You can't have no gum. Like,
I can chew some gum for you.
but growing up in Fayetteville,
Can't have no money.
right. You knew, no, I had a smart mouth. I was real quick on my feet and I was out there.
Clearly,
But growing up in Fayetteville taught you that giving somebody something, they're gonna
it's
want
the
something
beginning.
else.
They're gonna always
Yes.
want something else.
It
Yeah,
was always the beginning of something. Taking
yeah.
something from somebody meant
They were
you're gonna
they were
owe them
testing
something.
you. Yeah, they were testing you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now I gave you this. I want this from you. You
Mm-hmm.
do, and that's what growing up. That's what I learned, and so I don't have a skewed view of people, but I know people are people, and people are capable of anything.
Anything.
So I take most people at face value, and I think it helps when I'm helping with clients because there's nothing I hadn't heard, probably ain't nothing I ain't seen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not much is gonna shock or surprise me. I've talked to all types of
Walks
people.
of life. Yeah, it sounds like
Listen, yeah.
it. It sounds like it. Now, I will say this, and I'll leave on this note.
Mm-hmm.
The one resounding thing that you and I have had this conversation before. The one, I guess, most shocking, painful, but also settling and unsettling realizations that I've recently come to is that you are not as important to people as you think you are.
Mm.
Or you might not be as important to the people you think you're supposed to be important to,
Right.
and you hold a higher level of importance to people you didn't think thought about you twice.
Exactly.
And you don't know who those people are, and you
Nope.
may never know.
Nope. And just be
But I
you.
found that out the hard way. Yeah, just be yourself.
Oh, I got a quick story. It got nothing to do with nothing. It got something to do with mental health. But
All right.
I was I go get my nails done. Nail, yeah. You don't know about her, Google her. She's the best. Met this chick and she was like, oh, I was gonna call you to be my therapist, but I saw that we go to the same nail person, so you can't be my therapist. And I think, girl, I don't know you.
I don't know you. me and my nail person don't talk about you, girl.
Don't even know you. Didn't know. I was like, who are you? And then she was like, and I think we could be friends, or you could be my mentor. I was thinking, girl, I ain't about to be your friend.
I ain't about to be your friend either. Weirdo.
If you don't come get this work.
Oh, wait. We got to show our shirts.
Oh, and I know it's backwards, but here we go.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at it. It is, but oh well. So therapist means productively enhancing lives. That's what I do. And
Right.
any therapist can get this. You can be a speech therapist, physical therapist, occupational therapist, because all of us productively enhance lives in one way or another.
That's facts.
Yes.
Dope
And
nest.
yours?
Mine just says samurai. Somebody got this for me. Thank you so much. And it actually says samurai. I'm just hoping I don't end up. I double checked it to make sure that that's actually what it says. But I'm hoping somebody from Japan don't like click in and be like, that ain't what that says, Negro. Nah, look, I looked it up. Okay, I double checked. It's not on my body, but I'm sure that's what that says.
Right.
I
Oh,
actually
listen.
I actually check. I read a lot of the Japanese literature and stuff like that, not in Japanese, but in English, of course.
Right.
And a lot of their philosophies have helped, like, kind of hone and shape my mentality as far as what I need to be doing and should be doing to be more centered as a human being. So
Yeah, and I've been watching a lot of Korean shows and
me
movies, and
too.
I used to be able to speak Hangul, but I ain't been to Korea in so long. I can't. The stuff sounds familiar, but I can't do it. But I
Hey,
like watching it because of the places and things. I was like, I've been there. Oh, I remember that.
might
I
be
know
time to
that.
take a vacation.
Hey, it might be. I
They
did like.
say that the strongest way that you can revive the brain is to
Yes,
learn another language
yes, yes.
or
So
revive a language you already know. You never know. Take a
yeah,
vacation over there.
yeah. Well, maybe. I don't know. I remember more German. I would probably go to Germany before I go back to Korea.
That'd be
But I did
dope.
like both. So
That'd be dope.
yeah. So
Absolutely.
all right. Well, thank y'all for watching. This is
It's a good one.
listen. It's a little lighter than I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be heavy because mental health, help or harm,
Absolutely.
clarity matters. Google people, find out who you're talking to before you
Yes.
talk to them, vet them, call them and ask them questions. They don't want to answer the questions. And they shouldn't be telling people that you called and asked them questions either.
Mm-mm.
They
Nope.
shouldn't. They can't get in trouble for it, but they should get in
And
trouble
be
for
and look, be aware of partners and friends that you have that talk too much about your business behind your back.
it. Yeah,
If
because you
like
can't
if we talking
confide
about
in everybody.
therapists, you can't confide in everybody.
'Cause-
And if all of a sudden your name ends up in a lot of people's mouths, Candyman is one of my favorite horror villains. You know
yeah,
why? Because the only time he was messing with you is if you had his name in your mouth one too many times.
listen, and
That's
I'm gonna
it.
say therapy always. People be like, "What?" I'm gonna say it anyway. Therapy is almost like the oldest profession. You know how they say you pay for the person to leave, you pay me to shut up. So
That's it. That's true. You pay her to keep quiet. I'm here to
that's
come
it.
and tell you some things, and you.
Hey, I got some friends. They do it as a joke, but I take the money. Like they be like, "Look, don't tell nobody." And they'll cash me like $5. I'm like,
You're
"Girl,
like, I ain't gonna tell nobody, but you
I
can
ain't gonna
send me
tell
another
nobody
$5.
anyway." But yeah, I'm gonna keep you $5 because you try to be funny. But
Make sure y'all like and subscribe. Tell us what else you think, and go ahead and volunteer some information for us. And hopefully, this has been helpful to you just as much as it's been helpful for us to tell you about it.
yes, and follow us on IG at People Perspective in the Pulse. You can DM us, send us some questions, and we might have some answers for you. We'll do our best.
Nothing beats a failure but a try.
All right. Thank y'all for watching.
Peace.
Thank you again for watching People, Perspective, and the Pulse. Reminding you to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, bring a friend, and let's do it again. Thank you again. Bye.